Sarah felt a familiar tightness in her chest. Her heart raced. Her mind wouldn't stop. Another panic attack. It was as if a dark cloud had descended upon her, suffocating her with its weight. She had been here before, countless times, and each episode felt more overwhelming than the last. The world around her seemed to blur, and all she could focus on was the pounding of her heart and the rapid, shallow breaths that escaped her lips. She felt trapped in her own body, a prisoner of her anxiety. She reached for a pack of cigarettes, her supposed solace. The familiar feel of the pack in her hand brought a fleeting sense of comfort. She had started smoking years ago, thinking it would help her cope with stress. Over time, it had become her go-to solution for every anxious moment, every sleepless night, and every overwhelming day. The cigarettes were always there, a constant companion in her struggle. Lighting up, she inhaled deeply, the smoke a temporary balm against the storm within. The first drag always brought a momentary relief, a brief escape from the chaos in her mind. The smoke filled her lungs, and for a few seconds the world seemed to slow down. But deep down, Sarah knew this relief was fleeting. The calm would soon be replaced by the familiar, gnawing anxiety, and the cycle would begin anew. Sarah knew smoking wasn't good for her, but it dulled the sharp edges of her anxiety. If only for a moment, she often found herself lost in thought, questioning her choices. Why did she continue to rely on something that she knew was harming her? The guilt and shame weighed heavily on her. But the fear of facing her anxiety without the crutch of cigarettes was even more daunting. She felt trapped, both by her anxiety and her reliance on cigarettes. It was a vicious cycle, one feeding the other. The more anxious she felt, the more she smoked. And the more she smoked, the more her anxiety seemed to grow. She longed for a way out, but every attempt to quit had ended in failure. The withdrawal symptoms, the cravings, the overwhelming urge to light up again, it all felt too much to bear. This wasn't the life she envisioned. Sarah had dreams, aspirations, and a vision of a future where she was free from the chains of anxiety and addiction. She often found herself staring out the window, lost in thoughts of what could have been. The disappointment in herself was palpable. She wanted to be strong, to overcome her struggles, but the path seemed so unclear. Sarah wanted to be free, to experience joy without the weight of worry and the crutch of cigarettes. She dreamed of waking up one day and feeling a sense of peace, of being able to enjoy the simple pleasures of life without the constant shadow of anxiety looming over her. She imagined herself running through a field, arms outstretched, feeling the warmth of the sun on her face and the cool breeze in her hair. It was a vision of freedom, of a life unburdened by her struggles. She yearned for a way out, a path toward lasting peace and genuine well-being. She knew it wouldn't be easy, but she was determined to find a solution. She started exploring different methods to manage her anxiety: meditation, therapy, exercise, and even joining support groups. Each step was a small victory, a move towards reclaiming her life. The journey was long and filled with challenges, but Sarah was resolute in her quest for a better future. But the cigarettes, her supposed source of comfort, only tightened their grip, perpetuating the cycle of anxiety and addiction. Every time she tried to quit, the cravings would return with a vengeance, pulling her back into the cycle she so desperately wanted to escape. The frustration was immense. She would often find herself holding a cigarette, torn between the desire to throw it away and the overwhelming urge to light it up. It was a constant battle, one that left her feeling defeated and hopeless. Sarah's story is not unique. There are countless others who face the same struggles, who find themselves caught in the same vicious cycle of anxiety and addiction. The faces may be different, but the pain and the challenges are the same. It's a silent epidemic, one that affects millions around the world. Millions around the world find themselves caught in the same vicious cycle, seeking solace in cigarettes, unaware of the damage they inflict on their mental health. The act of smoking becomes a ritual, a way to cope with the stresses of daily life. But what many don't realize is that this temporary relief comes at a great cost. The physical and mental toll of smoking is immense, and the longer one continues, the harder it becomes to break free. The relationship between smoking and anxiety is complex, a tangled web of physical addiction, psychological dependence, and societal influences. It's not just about the nicotine, it's about the habits, the routines, and the emotional crutches that smoking provides. Understanding this relationship is the first step towards finding a solution. With the right support, resources, and determination, it's possible to break free from the cycle and find a path to true well-being. Nicotine, the addictive substance in cigarettes, tricks the brain into feeling a temporary sense of calm. This sense of calm is deceptive, masking the true nature of nicotine's grip on the brain. When a person inhales the smoke, nicotine rapidly enters the bloodstream and reaches the brain within seconds. This quick delivery system is part of what makes nicotine so addictive. It triggers the release of dopamine, a neurotransmitter associated with pleasure and reward. Dopamine is often referred to as the feel-good chemical because it plays a major role in how we feel pleasure. The release of dopamine creates a brief but intense feeling of euphoria, which the brain quickly learns to associate with smoking. This creates a powerful illusion that smoking relieves anxiety. The initial rush of dopamine can make the smoker feel more relaxed and less stressed, but this is only a temporary fix. The brain starts to crave that dopamine hit, leading the smoker to believe that they need a cigarette to feel better. But this feeling is fleeting. The effects of nicotine wear off quickly, leaving the smoker feeling anxious and irritable. This is because the brain's chemistry has been altered by the nicotine, creating a dependency that is hard to break. As the nicotine wears off, anxiety returns, often with a vengeance. The smoker may feel even more stressed and anxious than before they had the cigarette. This heightened anxiety is a result of the brain's dependency on nicotine to regulate its mood. This withdrawal fuels the urge to smoke again, perpetuating the cycle of addiction. The smoker lights another cigarette, seeking that brief moment of relief, only to find themselves trapped in a never-ending loop of craving and withdrawal. The brain, now chemically dependent on nicotine, craves it to function normally. Without nicotine, the brain struggles to maintain its balance, leading to withdrawal symptoms such as irritability, anxiety, and difficulty concentrating. The smoker becomes trapped, reaching for cigarettes not for pleasure, but to simply feel okay. The act of smoking becomes less about enjoyment and more about avoiding the discomfort of withdrawal. This chemical dependence is further reinforced by learned behaviors and environmental cues. Over time, the smoker associates certain places, times of day, or activities with smoking, making it even harder to quit. The act of smoking itself, the lighting of the cigarette, the inhale, the exhale, becomes intertwined with feelings of relief. These rituals become deeply ingrained habits that are hard to break. Certain places, people, or situations can trigger cravings, making it even harder to break free from the cycle. Social settings, stress, or even just seeing someone else smoke can trigger the urge to light up, reinforcing the cycle of addiction. The truth is, smoking exacerbates anxiety in the long run, making it worse over time. Nicotine disrupts the delicate balance of neurotransmitters in the brain, including those responsible for mood regulation, stress response, and sleep patterns. This can lead to increased anxiety, panic attacks, and even depression, creating a negative feedback loop. Imagine a seesaw. On one side, the temporary relief offered by nicotine, which feels fleeting. On the other, the long-term damage inflicted on the brain and body, leading to heightened anxiety and a host of other health problems. The more one smokes, the more the seesaw tilts toward anxiety, perpetuating the cycle further. This vicious cycle can be incredibly difficult to break, but not impossible. But it's crucial to remember that recovery is possible with the right support. By understanding the science behind this complex relationship and adopting healthy coping mechanisms, individuals can regain control of their anxiety and live healthier, fuller lives. The World Health Organization estimates that over 264 million people worldwide suffer from anxiety disorders. This staggering number represents a significant portion of the global population, affecting individuals from all walks of life, regardless of age, gender, or socio-economic status. Anxiety disorders encompass a range of conditions, including generalized anxiety disorder, panic disorder, social anxiety disorder, and various phobias. These conditions can severely impact a person's quality of life, leading to difficulties in daily functioning, relationships, and overall well-being. Simultaneously, the global smoking epidemic continues to claim millions of lives each year. Smoking is a leading cause of preventable death, responsible for a myriad of health issues such as lung cancer, heart disease, and respiratory illnesses. Despite widespread awareness of its dangers, smoking remains prevalent in many parts of the world, with cultural, social, and economic factors contributing to its persistence. The addictive nature of nicotine makes quitting a challenging endeavor for many smokers, further exacerbating the public health crisis. These two public health crises are not mutually exclusive. In fact, they often intersect in complex and troubling ways. The relationship between anxiety and smoking is bidirectional. While anxiety can lead individuals to smoke as a form of self-medication, smoking can also exacerbate anxiety symptoms. This creates a vicious cycle where individuals find themselves trapped between their mental health struggles and their smoking habits. Research suggests a strong correlation between smoking and anxiety, with smokers being significantly more likely to experience anxiety disorders than non-smokers. Studies have shown that nicotine, the addictive substance in cigarettes, can temporarily alleviate anxiety symptoms, leading individuals to use smoking as a coping mechanism. However, this relief is short-lived, and the long-term effects of smoking can worsen anxiety, creating a dependency that is difficult to break. Studies have shown that individuals with anxiety disorders are twice as likely to smoke compared to the general population. This increased prevalence highlights the need for targeted interventions that address the unique challenges faced by individuals with anxiety. Traditional smoking cessation programs may not be sufficient for this population, as they often require additional support to manage their anxiety symptoms while attempting to quit smoking. Furthermore, smokers are more likely to experience more severe symptoms of anxiety and are less likely to respond positively to treatment. The presence of nicotine in the body can interfere with the effectiveness of anxiety medications and therapies, making it harder for individuals to achieve relief from their symptoms. This underscores the importance of integrated treatment approaches that address both smoking and anxiety simultaneously. These alarming statistics highlight the urgent need for comprehensive public health interventions that address both smoking and mental health. Public health campaigns must raise awareness about the link between smoking and anxiety, and healthcare providers should be trained to recognize and address this dual burden in their patients. Community-based programs that offer support for both smoking cessation and anxiety management can play a crucial role in helping individuals break free from this cycle. The economic burden of smoking and anxiety is also staggering. The costs associated with treating smoking-related illnesses and anxiety disorders are immense, placing a significant strain on healthcare systems worldwide. In addition to direct medical costs, there are substantial indirect costs, such as lost productivity due to illness and premature death. Families often bear the financial and emotional brunt of these conditions, facing increased medical bills and the loss of loved ones. Healthcare costs, lost productivity, and premature mortality represent a significant drain on individuals, families, and societies worldwide. The ripple effects of smoking and anxiety extend beyond the individuals directly affected, impacting workplaces, communities, and economies. Addressing these issues requires a multifaceted approach that includes prevention, early intervention, and ongoing support for those affected. Investing in prevention, treatment, and support services for both smoking and mental health is not just a moral imperative, but also a sound economic strategy. By allocating resources to comprehensive public health initiatives, governments and organizations can reduce the prevalence of smoking and anxiety, improve overall health outcomes, and alleviate the economic burden on society. Collaborative efforts between policymakers, healthcare providers, and communities are essential to create a healthier future for all.